Good morning or good afternoon whenever you're doing this workout. So, this is going to be stretch and mobility. You can do this in sneakers or barefoot anytime. You can do it in your jammies. The only thing I'm going to use is a yoga block. And if you have a towel, a longer towel or a yoga strap, you can grab that as well. I'm going to show how you can do it with a towel to keep it super simple. And I'm refilming this. I did this last week, but I was not happy with the audio. So hopefully this will be a little bit clearer and you can hear the music a little bit better. I'm just going to move my mat a little bit. All right. So this is going to be a great session post-workout, really any time of day. It might be a nice nighttime kind of relaxation because you'll be surprised at how relaxed you will be, and you can get into those deeper stretches. So we will be working on some mobility, and that's going to be great for your joints. It'll give you better range of motion through your workouts and through everyday life. And the flexibility is going to be a little bit longer holding the stretches than you would typically in like the last 5 minutes of an exercise class, to give you that deeper stretch, that better recovery and better response the next time you go do squats or pick up weights. It will also help some of the lower body stretches like hamstrings, quads, hip flexors, glutes. That will help you with your lower back. If you struggle with any lower back pain, they're all tied together. So let's get started. I'm just going to turn up the volume for me. This is going to be about a 30-minute class. And I just invite you to chill, use it for a little stress release. And hopefully that music sounds good. All right, so we're going to start seated. I always like to have a yoga block to sit on. Gives you a little bit extra height. It might make your hips feel more comfortable. And I typically start out my stretch classes in a comfortable seated position so that we can be centered, kind of like the way I start a yoga class. Centered, grounded, just feel our breath, because our breath is so important through this workout, through all workouts, but particularly in stretch and mobility. If you are holding a stretch, it's too intense. You may find you're holding your breath or you're tensing up your muscles. We don't want that. So your breath can be good feedback on what is going on in your body. So we always start with the breath. So sit in any comfortable seated position. You can even sit in a chair. That works fine. And just begin to breathe. And you can close your eyes or soften your gaze if you don't want to close your eyes. And give yourself a few moments just to be present in where you are, wherever you were coming in from, the store or an errands, or maybe you're just winding down or post-workout. So letting the muscles of your face soften. And we're going to imagine that breath coming from the base of the spine to the crown of the head and exhaling down. Now the breathing can be in through the nose, out through the mouth, or the nose, depending on what you're used to. Yoga breathing is more in and out through the nose, but for this type of workout, I think like just letting that air come out like you're blowing through a straw. As you go through the breath, I want you to imagine the breath a little deeper than what we do during the day, which is more right here in the chest. So maybe expanding all the way through the rib cage, front and back, side to side. You'll feel that belly fill up. And you might notice as you get more and more relaxed that you can not hold your breath, but kind of pause at the top of that inhale. And then slowly let it out. And then pause at the bottom. It's called box breathing or square breathing. And it really can help you become more relaxed if you're ever keep going with that. If you're ever in a stressful situation and you feel like, okay, I'm just going to breathe, that's kind of what you're going for there, that relaxed breath. And we're going to add some movement. Let's take an inhale and exhale. So the mobility moves we're going to be going through here are at your own pace. Let the arms come up on your inhale, lengthening through the spine. And I'm going to just give you a flow, and then you can kind of go with it at your own pace. Same thing with the stretches. If I'm holding a stretch that's just you can't hold it anymore, you just come in and out of it. Let's do one more, inhaling and exhaling. And bring your fingertips down, and let's just take a little bit of side flexion, inhale and exhale. So I typically inhale and then exhale when I reach to the side. Get that nice side stretch. It's so important to move the spine in all directions. So we're getting a little lateral flexion here. And after this one, we're going to bring the arms up. Inhale. And then we're going to twist, bringing one hand to the knee and one hand behind you. Same thing, adding that rotation, not forcing anything, sitting up nice and tall. So where you hold and where I hold might be two different places. We're sitting up nice and tall here. Imagine elongating the spine and then exhale. Still staying tall in the spine as we twist. I like this one. I think about twisting and detoxifying my internal organs, opening the chest. Let's bring the arms up and back down into our heart center. Very nice. We're going to take a little cat and cow here. There's lots of things you can do. You can have your fingertips here and round and open. So with cat and cow, we round and flex the spine, and then we extend, making sure we have that little bit of a core connection through the abdominals. You can also take your fingertips to your temples. I'm just going to demonstrate a few of my favorites. And we can also bring the arms out and bring the backs of the hands together and then open. So really finding what works for you. Another nice one is bringing the hands to the knees and rounding and then arching. Good. So whichever one gives you the best connection is the best for you. They're all good. And bring it up, and then just bring your chin, your ear to shoulder, and then chin to chest. So we're just going to flow through some neck rolls, just side to side. And just be careful going back. You can take it all the way back as long as you feel okay with it and your doctor didn't say, don't bring your head back. But we all kind of lift our head up, right, to look up at the sky or an airplane or the moon. So just you can take it gently side to side. And then take a big deep breath and bring all that good energy into your heart. We're going to move on here. So we're going to come off that block. Just keep it to the side. And we're going to do some hip 90-90s, but very gentle. So I'm going to have my feet super wide. You can also do this on your back, and I'll show you that in a second. And we're just going to alternate bringing one knee down. Now, hips might be tight in the beginning, so don't force anything. Just take it side to side. And as you get a little warmer, you'll probably get that knee maybe a little closer. If you don't like that, you can also do this one here with still the feet nice and wide. And you can do this totally reclined. And this is also a really nice one. The key to this mobility movement is having the feet wide. Okay, so keep going with that. If your feet are too close together, you're going to be locked up. So just want to keep the hands nice and relaxed, open up through the chest. Good. Last one. Nice. Good. All right, let's move on. So we're going to come on to hands and knees. If you have, if you're on like a hardwood floor, you might want to put a towel under your knees. You can use your mat and roll it up and put it under your knees. hands under your shoulders, and we're going to come into cat and cow. We're going to round and arch the spine. So kind of flowing through these quickly through the mobility parts, and then we'll hold the stretches a little bit longer. It's important to do both of these. More the longer stretches post-workout, but mobility wins every time. Beginning of the workout, during the day, at the end of a workout. Nice. And just come back to neutral. We're going to just stretch out the calves. So this is a nice one. Just bring your 1 foot back and then just roll through forward and back. You're going to feel a nice calf stretch here. If it's too much to be on the hands, or you don't like being on the hands, you can either elevate your palms up on dumbbells, or maybe fold up mat, or just drop to your elbows. It feels so good. So you can rock forward and back and then stretch it out. This is a great one to do, and then switch sides. You can also go to fists there if you don't like to be on your wrist. So bring that leg back. This is a great one if you are, a walker and you do a lot of standing on your feet. Kind of work through that foot, roll through that foot, pointing and flexing. So it's a nice one to do beginning of the day or end of the day, really. And you can hold it. Good. Good. Very nice. All right. We're going to come back down to all fours. I'm going to just put my hands down. And what we're going to do here is just take one knee and circle it in one direction. No rules here. Just make it a nice big circle. I'm just going to put my fan on. It's getting warm in here. All right. Okay. Keep going with that circle and then go the other way. Let's just go both ways with that circle. Again, great for the hips, and then do the other side. So it doesn't really matter which way you start. Just do maybe 4 or 5 in each direction. You're definitely going to feel your core too. You're going to feel your obliques. And last one. Good job. All right, let's bring the knees out wider and sit into child's pose. So this is a little bit gentler because your knees are a little wider. And just bring the hands out and let the forehead rest on the mat, the towel, or you can even have your block here. Come on up to all fours and slide one arm underneath. Bring it up, other arm goes underneath. We're just going to hold it for a second. Come back up and then go to child's pose. So this is our next little flow. So we come up, we bring one arm down, thread it through, and the other. So I have my knees a little wider here, and then sit back into your child's pose. Really just flowing through at your own pace. Good. And take a child's pose. Nice. Come on up to all fours. We're going to keep the legs where they are. We're going to bring our fingertip to our temple and open, and then crunch that elbow through that opposite arm between the hand and the knee. Good. And this just opens up that shoulder a little more. As you get a little warmer, maybe you extend and thread through, but we're keeping this to a flow to open up this shoulder. Good. So either hands to the temple or bring that whole arm up. And then when you're ready, bring it down and hold that thread the needle. And you can either extend this top arm or keep it at your side. And just kind of melt into that shoulder. Hips are elevated, and we're just getting a nice twist through that side body. Come on up, and we'll do the other side. So we're going to bring that fingertip to the temple and just let that twist happen right in that middle spine. Inhale, open. Exhale to twist. And as you get a little warmer, maybe you open up, pause, and bring it down, and then go right back up. This is, again, great for your shoulder. We hold so much tension in the shoulders, holding groceries, a phone, maybe sitting at a laptop or driving a lot. So we want to reverse that. Hold the next one and just melt. And then you can extend or just keep that hand right here. So if you don't come all the way down, that's okay. You can put a little block here, or you can keep going with your flow. And the more reps you do, you'll find that you'll get closer and closer to that thread. And bring it in. Very nice. All right, we're going to come up to our knees and just work on a little shoulder mobility. We're going to bring the arms up into like a V and draw the elbows down. Inhale, reach, exhale. Good. And this is great for your posture, keeping the core engaged. 2 more. Last one. Good, very nice. From here, we're going to go into a hip flexor stretch. So one foot comes forward, and you're just going to keep your hands on your thighs. And I'm going to take my block next to my foot and just kind of rock forward and back. Find the point where you feel a nice stretch in this hip flexor. And this may be enough for you. Here comes Jenny. If you want to make it a little easier, you can bring your hand to the block. Hi, this is Jenny. And just kind of find where you get that release. If you wanted to make it a little harder, you're going to take that arm up with a slight arch. Be careful. Just because I'm giving you a harder option doesn't mean it would be appropriate. And you can take both hands. If it's going to make you hold your breath, you just kind of have to find, I'm going to give you time to work through that one. So you might find it here, hand on the block. Good. Or you might be right here. Now we're going to come back and stretch out this front leg. Feeling it in that front hamstring, and then go back to where we were. And this is your next flow. So we're going to go hamstring to hip flexor. Now, if you're like, I need a little more, that doesn't mean everybody needs more. You can be in a runner stretch here with your knee off to pyramid. And that would be your flow. So find what is appropriate for you. So I'm getting that front hamstring, and then I'm getting hip flexor. So we're all getting the same stretch. And release it by bringing that back knee down. Take a nice release into your child's pose here. And this time we're going to bring the arms over to one side. And then over to the other side. Where'd Jenny go? Good job. And bring it in. Good. We're going to go right to the other side. So if you know you want to go to that other option with the runner stretch, but I think it's wise that we all start here. You can kind of feel for that initial stretch. Maybe you're here, or maybe you're here. This gives you a little more support. You're not rounded, but you've got that long reach to the crown of the head towards that back knee. And then when you're ready, go back and forth from front hamstring right here to hip flexor of the back leg. So we're just kind of holding as long as you like. Again, you can be runner stretch to pyramid. I feel it a little bit more on this side. Good. Just take it at your pace. If you want to hold the hamstring stretch a little bit longer than the hip flexor, you can do that. Just open up that chest. And we're going to be stretching out these muscles a little bit A little bit more. So this is kind of like a good warm up. Good. And bring that knee down. Nice job. All right, we're going to do puppy dog pose, which is my favorite. So puppy dog pose, your arms go out, but your hips stay high. And it's a little bit more of a front of the shoulder, chest, and postural stretch. So just be careful with where you are here. So my hips are higher. I'm walking my hands out. You can also bring your hands together behind you to go a little deeper and walk the elbows in. It's kind of melting into it. This is a nice one to do on a block. So if you want to go a little deeper, you're going to bring your elbows up. It is a little bit harder because you're getting a little bit deeper of a stretch here. So the block might be narrow for you, so you can always do this on a countertop or a desk from a standing position. And I know that's a little too tight for me right now, so I'm going to take the block out and just feel this nice release here. Again, you can be here. And if you walk the arms in, that'll be a little bit more user-friendly, especially on the triceps. Nice. Come on up. How do you feel? I hope you're really enjoying this so far. All right, we're going to be on our side, and we're going to stretch out the quadricep, the front of the thigh. So we've stretched hip flexors, hamstring, calves. So it's the quad's turn. So we're going to extend this leg out and just bend and straighten it. And we're just kind of signaling the quad, hey, we're going to be stretching here. This may be enough for you. And you can also be all the way down. If you are up, your elbow is under your shoulder. Now, if you can hold it here, great. You can also reach behind and gently, keyword gently, bring the heel into your glutes. So make sure that the knee isn't out in front. If you look, your knee should be in line with your hip. You can bring it back a little bit, but start here and see how you feel. This is our first big static stretch. So we're going to be holding this for a little bit. So it's up to you to back off if it's too deep, to go deeper if you need it or want it. Watching that posture. We don't want to sink like this. We want to stay lifted. Again, you can be here. Make sure your knee isn't up in the air. It's pretty much in line with the hip. And breathing through it. Remember, you're in charge of your stretch and how much tension you put on that foot. And release it. Ooh. All right, before we go to the other side, we're going to take a little swan dive. So you're going to bring your arms out at a 90-degree angle, like a little goalpost position. And we're just going to press into the hands, lift the chest, and lower. This is a nice, smaller kind of a extension, but still very good for the spine. We're not forcing anything. There's a little hold up at the top and a little hold at the bottom, like a little pause. Your glutes are engaged. Your abdominals are engaged. My toes are pointed. So even though my lower body is not moving, there's a lot going on here. Last one. Reaching through the crown of the head, being careful not to do this, and bring it down. Bring your hands in and sit into a child's pose. It's important to just take a little stretch after doing extension work. And then come on up and we'll go to the other side for your quadricep. So you're doing great. Hopefully you're feeling nice and relaxed. So remember, you're going to position your elbow right below your shoulder. We're not sinking. We're lifted here. And then just take that top leg and bend it, straighten it. Just again to signal the quad that we want to turn it on. And you can stay here with just a bent knee or take your hand around and keyword gently pull the heel into your glute. We never want to force anything. We want to make sure we're not down here. We want to make sure we're not up here or externally rotated. Think about all the posture points I gave you. Inhale and exhale. Go deeper if you need to. It might not look like you're going deeper, but you know you're going deeper. And that's kind of the way it is. Remember, you can be here. You can kind of hold your head up too. That's fine. And you can bring that leg back a little if you need it. Hold on to it. Make this your own. On your next exhale, we're going to let that go and come onto your stomach again. All right. And we're going to just expand on that. The feet are apart, toes are pointed, arms out to the side again. And what we're going to do is lift the right leg and the left arm and put it down. Reciprocal action, left arm, right leg. And think about drawing that elbow back slightly to really hit the postural muscles. Notice I'm not jamming anything. And the extension is yours. You can do this without the extension. See how my head is a little bit further down? So keep going with that. Your hips are down into the mat. Abdominals are deeply engaged. The slower you go, I promise you, the more you're going to get out of it. Now, if you would like to go both arms, single leg, that's another option. Remember that pause at the top and the pause at the bottom. If you wanted to go a little deeper, maybe you lift both. Maybe you bring the arms back. Again, moving the spine in this direction is very important to get that balance through the muscles and through the joints. A lot of lower back pain is maybe from doing too much of a crunch or too many of one thing and not enough extension. Last one. Bring it down. Bring those palms in. Push yourself up and sit into child's pose. Shoulders should be relaxed. Feeling that beautiful stretch in the back. All right, coming on up and having a seat. So really moving through a variety of positions. And from here, we're going to grab our towel. Rolling it down. Let's hug the knees in. And if you have any knee discomfort or knee replacement, any tightness in the knee, just reach behind your knee. Because we just really want to pull the legs in and get a little release. If you're pushing too much here, that might be too much tension on your knees. So keep that in mind. Next time somebody says, pull your knees into the chest, you have to be working with what feels best for you. All right, we're going to bring the feet down one at a time. And just before we move on, we're going to do a shoulder bridge. So we want to make sure our heels are in and not too far out here. Arms are at your sides, and we're going to tilt the pelvis and pick the spine up one vertebrae at a time, or as best you can, to the tips of the shoulder blades and come right back down. Again, with your inhale and exhale, inhaling, exhaling. Pushing into the feet. Again, another lovely movement for the spine. Last one. Nice. All right, we're going to take our right knee, bring it into the chest, and then just bend and straighten it. Just bend and straighten. We're now signaling the hamstring that we're going to be stretching it. So hold the next one up. No judgment here. Point and flex the foot, roll it around. reach for your towel or your strap. And this leg can either be bent as is or extended. But either way, I want you to put energy there. I don't want it to just flop. So this might feel like a nice release for your hip flexor. So we're going to gently take the leg a little closer and bring the strap or the towel under the ball of the foot and use it as a tool. Now mine is pretty short. You can have a longer towel, and we're just going to gently bring it in. I'm not tensing my shoulders to do it. You can use one hand or two, and we're just bringing the leg in. The towel is really an extension of your hands. So if you didn't have a towel and you could reach comfortably without straining through your shoulders, you could just be here, okay? But I think most of us appreciate a towel. And then if it's too much, just say, oh, that was way too much. My heart rate was going up, or maybe you were holding your breath. Here I'm holding it with two hands. And this is giving us a little bit extra time to stretch that hamstring, which contributes to a lot of lower back pain. So if you have lower back tightness or pain, if you keep your hamstrings stretched, that's not only going to help your lower back, it's going to help you with squats, with lunges, with recovery. Good. Make sure you're breathing. Notice what's going on in the rest of your body. Are you holding your breath? Are you tightening up? And then when you're ready, you don't have to take it to this level. I'm going to bring my one hand out to the side and slowly bring this leg out. And holding on to the strap, just kind of opening the chest here, making sure both shoulder blades are down. It's a nice way to stretch the inner thigh and the hip. But again, it's not for everybody. And then bring it back in. You can bend the knee and release it. Hug that knee in. Nice job. And put that foot down. We're going to do everything on the other leg. So bring the knee in first. Bend and straighten it. Make sure your hips aren't elevated. We want that press of the tailbone down into the mat. Just kind of warm up that hamstring a little bit. Roll that ankle around. And then when you're ready, we're going to do the same thing. So holding it with one hand or two. Remember the option for this leg to be extended. And just kind of gently, see where you're at. Maybe straightening the leg a little bit. I don't want it locked, but you can straighten it to get a little bit more. Inhale and exhale. Feels so good. Notice what's going on with the muscles of your face. Are you holding your breath? Do you need to back off? Do you need to go deeper? And remembering, if you don't have a towel today, maybe you just hold it here or hold it here. This class is for everybody. So even if you don't have a towel, you can still get a good stretch. Maybe you just hold behind the knee today. All right. And we're going to take it to the side. So bring your opposite arm out. And just make sure you keep both shoulder blades down. You wouldn't want to pick that shoulder up. So you can always bend the knee. Beautiful stretch for the inner thigh, the hip. Feel like you're melting into the mat. And on your next exhale, bring it back to center. Hug that knee in. And then hug the other knee in. Nice. All right, one more thing to do. This is going to feel great. So we're going to bring our feet down. So you have the option of having your toes down, arms to the side. You can even, you know what? Let's take that block between the knees or between the thighs. So you can always add that in. And then you're going to bring your knees right and left, keeping the shoulder blades down. If you're like, I need a little more, you can take your feet up. I recommend bringing the feet together and rolling the knees side to side. And your goal here is to do this while keeping the shoulder blades down into the mat. So if you're too far going to the side and your shoulder lifts up, you've gone too far. Not to say you won't get there, but you might need a few more reps. So just helping with that ball there to kind of activate the pelvic floor a little bit more. This feels so good. And then if it feels good, to hold it to one side, you can hold it there. The reason I like this block here is because if it's not here, this knee sometimes collapses and just creates too much tension and pull on the back. So having a little Pilates ball or a rolled up towel or a block, if you don't have a block, you don't need a block. You can improvise with a pillow. Just see how this feels melting into the spine. And we'll go to the other side. And if you need to reposition that block, go ahead. So your shoulder blades are down, you're open through the chest, getting an incredible chest opener here. Noticing if you're holding tension in your neck, your shoulders, your face, your fingertips. Just kind of let it go. And on your next exhale, we're going to come back to center. You can remove that block. And two choices here. You can either roll yourself up or roll your knees to the side and help come up with your palms. So you can roll it up. Nice job. And we're going to finish in a V sit, but you can also finish where we started. Okay, so you can sit up on the block in any comfortable seated position. Hopefully you're feeling good in your body. If it's uncomfortable to sit like this, just sit in any comfortable position. And we're going to do our little side bend here. Just a couple each way. And we're going to come forward. Ooh, feels so good. And then inhale, lace the fingertips and just sit back into a little C shape. Inhale up, exhale, lace the hands behind you, open up the chest. And remember those cat and cow. We're going to go back and forth. Remember we did cat and cow in that seated position, rounding, and then opening. It's just another variation. One more time. And extending the spine. I'm going to show you from the side so you see what's going on back there. Just opening up. You can also just have your hands on your low back, or maybe you're here. Lots of ways to open the chest. And release it. We're going to come up to a standing position to finish, and I welcome you to do this variation, but if you have a different way of getting up, you can also do that. We're going to have hands under our shoulders and knees under our hips. We're going to curl the toes under, engage the core, nice flat back. Let your knees float, engage the core and the quads, and come up to downward facing dog. You can pedal the feet. Hips are high, reaching to the sky. And then we're going to walk our hands in one at a time. Bend the knees when you get there. And then slowly roll it up one vertebrae at a time, rounding. If you tend to get dizzy, stop here and maybe just get your bearings and then finish rolling up. Take a big deep breath and bring all that good energy in. I hope you enjoyed today's stretch and mobility. Hopefully it was very relaxing for you. And at least, moving your body in a really purposeful way will give you the best result. I promise you that. And we shouldn't ignore stretch and mobility. They're big components of fitness along with strength and cardiovascular training. So breath work is a big part of that. So let me know how you got on with it and how the sound was. I think I made the right settings for this platform, and I will see you next time.